In the headlines, 10 persons killed in another fresh attack in Zangon Kataf. INEC distributes sensitive electoral materials for March 18th polls, assures of hitch-free exercise. Nigerians blame cashless policy for rising inflation. And on the foreign scene, UN nuclear watchdog expresses concern as 2.5 tons of uranium goes missing from Libyan side. Hello and welcome to Trans TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. We begin in Zangon Kataf of Kaduna State, where terrorists in their large numbers invaded Langsong community in the local government area, leaving 10 persons dead and many others still missing. Those that sustained injuries were rushed to the hospital for treatment. President of the Atiap Community Development Association, ACDA, Sam Achi, said the association has no confidence in a section of the security operatives deployed to the area to protect lives and property. The senator representing Kaduna South, Danjuma La, in a statement, had condemned the attacks and appealed to the government to deploy more security to Zangon Kataf local government area to arrest the recurring attacks on innocent lives and property in the area.
For now, we have about 10 people that are dead and many are still missing. So we have not known the whereabouts of those that are missing, but such operation is ongoing. And some are wounded and are right now receiving treatment in the various hospitals in the land. This region and our land, the Atiap Nation, have been under incessant attacks for the past 4 years. And in all of these attacks, there have never been any response from the government cycle. Yes. Our people have been killed in their numbers. Our people have been maimed in their numbers. And today, we have security personnel in this land that have been taken care of with our taxpayers' money.
And the Department of State Services has charged 4 suspected terrorists before a chief magistrate's court in Isabo, Abeokuta, Ogun State. The suspects, who were arrested on December 9th, 2022, were arraigned on Wednesday on charges of terrorism and kidnapping. The prosecution counsel, Emmanuel Zamba, told the court that the DSS had filed a motion ex parte dated March 15th in respect of the suit. He explained that the motion filed, which contains a 5-paragraph affidavit, sought an order of the court to remand the suspects in custody. Zamba said the offences allegedly committed were contrary to Sections 2 and 3 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. The Chief Magistrate, M.O. Oshibajo, in his ruling, granted the prayer of the DSS, the Prosecution Counsel, and adjourned the matter till April 17th for further reports from the DSS. And to politics now, where the PDP and its presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, have withdrawn an application seeking to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to allow their agents to participate in the process of sorting out ballot papers that were used for the February 25th presidential election. PDP and Atiku told the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal sitting at the Court of Appeal in Abuja that they have deemed it fit to discontinue the application. Counsel for Atiku, Joe Kyari Gadzama, told the court that he filed a notice of discontinuance when the motion was called on Wednesday. Justice Joseph Ikie-led 3-man panel therefore struck out the application. INEC has reportedly met with Atiku and the PDP legal team where all the grey areas were sorted out, with a pledge to allow agents to observe the process of sorting out some of the electoral materials. Meanwhile, former Vice President and PDP presidential candidate in the February 25th election, Atiku Abubakar, has charged supporters not to be discouraged by the outcome of the presidential election, but come out en masse to give Governor Ahmadu Fintiri a second term through their votes. Atiku gave the charge while speaking to journalists shortly after arriving Yola ahead of the Saturday, March 18th governorship election. Salis Lawan has details.
Atiku, who arrived Yola Wednesday afternoon, was received by the Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Umaru in company of top PDP stalwarts in the state. He tells journalists why people need to come out and vote on Saturday.
No, first and foremost, I would like to thank our supporters all over the country. But in particular, since I'm in Adamawa today, I would like to use this opportunity to sincerely thank the people of Adamawa for giving us an overwhelming support. Now, having said that, if I'm not discouraged, they should take a cue from me and make sure that they also remain, resilient, strong, and committed, to the victory of the next gubernatorial and state assembly polls.
The former vice president also explains why Adamawa Governor Ahmadu Fintri deserves a second term.
Obviously, if there is any governor that deserves a second term, it should be Governor Ahmadu Fintri. I have worked with governors from 1999 up to this point in time. I can tell you, not because he's here, I'm not afraid of him. Nobody, no governor has impacted on the lives of the people of this state better than Ahmadu Fintri. Take the various sectors, take the social sector, take the educational sector, take the healthcare sector, and then look at the infrastructure, both urban and rural. Also look at the security situation in the state. So I think he deserves a second term so that he can continue to do the good work he has been doing.
Atiku charges citizens not to allow what he calls the poor performance of INEC in the presidential elections discourage them from voting.
Yesterday, I made a national broadcast to all Nigerians and especially PDP supporters that they should not be discouraged with the extremely poor performance of INEC in the last election. It should rather be a challenge to Nigerians to strengthen, our democratic process and make sure that our democratic process is not undermined by the inefficiency and corruption, of INEC.
Citizens are hopeful that the Saturday 18th governorship and state assemblies elections will be a true reflection of the people's will. Silas Lewan, Trust TV News, Yola.
And the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has been charged to address issues of malfunction with the bimodal voter accreditation system and late arrival of electoral materials and officials to polling units, which caused delay in the commencement of the 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections. Stakeholders gave the charge at a one-day meeting convened by INEC to brainstorm how to ensure credible, transparent, peaceful and successful conduct of the 2023 governorship and state assemblies election in Zamfara. The report.
Concerned stakeholders pointed out noticeable lapses in the last presidential and National Assembly elections and want the Independent National Electoral Commission to address them in Saturday's governorship and states assemblies elections. They said the last-minute creation of new polling units left many voters confused while trying to locate their polling units, adding that the late commencement of the election dragged the process into the night in some parts of the state. Other issues which the stakeholders harped on were the lack of prompt response of security agencies to distress calls, indiscriminate usage of result sheets, lack of capacity of ad hoc staff to operate the bimodal voters accreditation system BVAS, as well as late arrival of electoral materials at polling units, among others.
We need these numbers to be on your social media handles, to be printed and submitted to all political parties and the civil society organizations so that we can contact you immediately.
We have discovered the indiscriminate usage of certificate copies or replacement copies of result sheets, especially here in the state capital.
We are here together. What Adura's duty and civil for will assure the INEC is total and complete cooperation, working cooperation.
The Joint National Association of Persons Living with Disabilities, PWLD, reminded INEC of the promise to provide materials that will aid the deaf and visually impaired persons to vote in the 2023 general elections. The group said it, however, observed that the Commission did not make those materials available in most polling units during the presidential and National Assembly elections.
To appreciate the security forces in collaboration with the Commission
for creating an easily accessible environment for our people with disability to cast their votes. So we really commend them for that.
The INEC National Commissioner in charge of Kebbi, Sokoto and Zamfara states, Muhammad Kala, commended security agencies and residents of the state for their support towards the peaceful and successful conduct of the 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections. The INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in Zamfara State, Babura Ahmed, said the Commission has noted the lapses recorded in the last elections and is poised to improve on them during the conduct of the governorship and state assemblies elections.
Is to thank the people of Zamfara State, the INEC, the security agencies for having get a very good and welcome election that has occurred during the presidential election.
The general consensus at this stakeholders meeting is that the security agencies should this time go beyond the usual assurances that it will provide adequate security and protection to voters by acting swiftly to respond to distress calls, which was observed as a challenge with security operatives in the presidential and National Assembly elections.
And still talking politics, the People's Democratic Party and its supporters in Wase local government area of Plateau State on Tuesday staged a peaceful demonstration to the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission and the local government to register their anger over collation of election results at the Secretariat of the local government. According to the PDP, since the local government secretariat is controlled by the APC, election results could be manipulated in favor of the ruling party and therefore called for the relocation of the collation center. Ado Musa completes the story.
These are members of the PDP in Wase local government area, adorned in black attire, protesting against INEC's refusal to collect election results at the Commission's office in the area. The Wase PDP chairman, Saleh Hamman, who led the demonstration, alleged that election results at the local government secretariat of Wase, where coalition was always done, are usually manipulated to favor the ruling party that controls the council. The chairman, while submitting their petition, accused INEC of failing to fulfill its promise to collect results of the presidential and National Assembly elections at the Commission's office in Wase instead of the council secretariat.
The word protest is harder than the word demonstration. We are peace-loving people. We, the PDP in Wase, are law-abiding. We know what is right for our people. We came here purposely to lodge this complaint because of the importance attached to the complaint. The major problem we are facing here in the electoral process in Wase local government is the fact that collection of results were always being carried out at the local government secretariat. And that local government secretariat had so far been turned into APC office, where the APC have access into it anytime. They will use the security to block our people from going in, while their own people will be there. That was what happened during the 25th presidential and National Assembly election.
The chairman therefore insisted that the coalition of the March 18 governorship and state assemblies poll be carried out at INEC office rather than the local government secretariat.
Knows what they are doing. All we want is the collection of results should be carried out here in the INEC office because we have confidence in the INEC office than any other place. The local government is the house for everybody. The INEC office here is where the electoral processes can be carried out without any hitches.
Responding on behalf of the commission, the INEC Assistant Electoral Officer in Wase, Samson Laguna, commended the peaceful manner of the demonstration and assured that the matter will be referred to the appropriate quarters for consideration.
This is a rare occurrence. It's something that you do not just see happen, in places, like this. I wish to commend you people for the peaceful conduct and the manner in which the presentation of your complaint is made. I can assure you that on behalf of the EO, INEC was a local government, that the complaint that you have presented will definitely get to the appropriate quarters. Thank you very much. And it will be looked into.
The PDP members who besieged the INEC office, asked the commission to stick to its earlier promise to collect election results at the office. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And operatives of the Department of State Services have arrested 2 supporters of the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, for allegedly inciting violence in Kano State. The secret police have also deployed its crack detectives to other states of the Federation to track down any politician with the mindset of inciting violence ahead of the March 18th gubernatorial and state assembly elections. DSS spokesman Peter Afunaya said the duo of Sharu Abubakar Tabula and Ismail Ilyasu Mangu were tracked down after the suspects had separately recorded inciting messages which they shared through various social media channels. Afunaya shared the inciting video saying while the service alerts the public of its planned illegal action, it calls on the concerned party to shelve it forthwith or be ready to face the consequences. He warned against plans to organize a protest march in the metropolis as well as storm offices of the security agencies in solidarity with the suspects. Meanwhile, the New Nigeria People's Party in Kano has alleged that its main opponent in Saturday elections is not the ruling All Progressives Congress, but the Department of State Services. The party alleged that the service was working in cahoots with the ruling party to subvert the will of the people, but it will not allow this to prevail. Speaking on behalf of the party, Baffa Bichi, a senatorial candidate of the party, said the party will embark on a peaceful march across the city to protest against what they termed an illegal retaining of the Kano State Director of the DSS, who he alleged was due for retirement 15 months ago. He said the protest became the last resort of the party because it has on good authority that the DSS boss was kept in office to assist the ruling APC in the forthcoming elections. Still with us on Trust TV News Update, still ahead. We take a look at why some uneducated Nigerian youth are unemployable. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Inherited a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's take another look at our top stories. 10 persons killed in another fresh attack in Zangwankataf. And INEC distributes sensitive electoral materials for March 18th polls, assures of hitch-free exercise. And moving on to other news now, traders and customers at Utako Market in Abuja say the latest rise in inflation in the country is reflective of the hardship people are facing owing to the cashless policy. They speak to Noel Sampson.
Sellers and buyers at Utako Market blame the rise in inflation on cash crunch occasioned by the cashless policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Things are actually going up day by day in terms of prices. So I think government need to do something about this, and this issue of a cash policy and the rest of it is really affecting us.
We will come back and since in the morning we will not see even 200 naira cash. Common money to buying of food is suffering to us.
And business is not moving, nothing is moving. If you are coming to the market in the morning and you not come along with your transport fare, you will remain in the market. Customers that are coming to buy, their number has reduced because of the cashless policy now, they are no more coming and the scarcity of money.
Because I cannot meet the demand of my family anymore because of the inflation. Not that I'm not well to do, not that I cannot feed them, but the inflation has affected everything negatively on my side. I don't know whether people are finding it easy, but as for me, as a customer, I'm not finding it easy any longer. It is hard for me to feed my family 3 times a day now. It's very difficult.
No cash. So we talk about transfer, POS. The service is not good because the transfer is not going, the network is bad. And then the POS of a thing, they will charge you a lot of money in order for you to transfer money. So very, very bad.
The consensus among them is that government's policies must be people-oriented and it should avoid implementing policy that brings about hardship to the governed. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, available statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics state that Nigeria has an unemployment rate of 33.3%, an underemployment rate of 22.8%, and a youth unemployment rate of 42.5%. Nigeria's unemployment figures are a source of worry for the nation's economy. Chamun Dabeng examines the factors responsible for this.
After graduation, many Nigerians find themselves unemployed for several years. Jobs in public service are not only scarce but unavailable. The private sector is grappling with its challenges, often leaving skilled young Nigerians without employment. Nigerians share their perspective on the issue as well as their personal experience in finding adequate employment.
I want to believe that some of us we contributed to this situation. Why do I say so? Somebody that went through university, he or she must have learned 1 or 2 things that can make him or her to be on his or her own to a level. And those knowledge they acquired, I discovered that some of us have refused to work with those knowledge we have acquired. I empowered myself, and through that I got married, and as God will have it, 6 months after my marriage, I have a job of 16,000 naira.
I'm a civil servant. I'm currently employed. I've been in the civil service for quite a time now, like 9 years. But before then, I was unemployed for like 6 years after graduation. But then, it's fine. Okay.
I think the problem lies with the government because so many of our youths are talented. You see people coming out with good grades from school, yet unable to find jobs.
According to a report carried out in 2022 by Jobberman, Nigeria's active population ages 15 to 64 sat around 122 million, 70 million of which belong to the labor force. However, out of this figure, only 3 million have formal employment. With such a high rate, many have debated where the blame lies. Are Nigerians unemployable, or are there simply not enough jobs to cater for Nigeria's growing population?
Well, in between those figures is what you call unemployability. Okay? It is one thing for you to have education. It's another thing for you to be employable. Okay, employability is where I think the major challenge is. And if even those who are unemployed are either underemployed or inadequately engaged. The school system is at fault because what we got very fixated, early on with formal education. And when every other well-thinking, well-meaning, forward-looking nation started going the way of skills education, we were still, fixated towards paper qualification.
Issues such as undereducation as well as Nigeria's illiteracy rate, which is estimated to be at 31%, has only exacerbated the issue of unemployability. Many experts have attributed Nigeria's high insecurity levels as well as other criminal activity in the country to unemployment. Many are calling out to the government to not only improve the education system, but also empower Nigerians with the skills and the tools to create work for themselves. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
We'll now take a look at the foreign scene where UN nuclear watchdog inspectors on Wednesday said roughly 2.5 tons of natural uranium have gone missing from a Libyan site that is not under government control. A statement by the International Atomic Energy Agency chief, Rafael Grossi, said the finding is the result of an inspection originally planned for last year but had to be postponed because of the security situation in the region. It was finally carried out on Tuesday. Grossi said the agency would carry out further activities to determine the circumstances of the uranium's removal from the site, which it did not name, and its current location. The watchdog noted that the loss of knowledge about the present location of the nuclear material may present a radiological risk as well as nuclear security concerns, adding that reaching the site required complex logistics. And in sports, Aruna Quadri has qualified for the quarterfinals of the men's singles at the World Table Tennis Smash in Singapore. The African number 1 defeated world number 4 Japan's Tomokazu Harimoto in straight sets at the Infinity Arena in the early hours of Thursday. The Nigerian had faced the highly rated Japanese teenager twice before and came out inferior on both occasions, but his technique aligned in the latest meeting. Aruna breezed through Harimoto with quick salvos of 11-7, 13-11 and 11-7 to wrap up the match in less than 30 minutes. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget, for more news, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.